person we really have to thank for persuading Viggo was his son Henry, because Henry was about I think he was about 11 or 12 years old at that time, and he was a huge fan of The Lord of the Rings, and absolutely was beside himself when he thought that his dad could get to play Aragorn.
Viggo Mortensen is our special guest today. And is it really true that you were going to turn that part down, and then your son convinced you?
My first response, honestly, was I don't think it's such a good idea. I mean, I'm flattered to be asked, but I never read this book. You know, all the other people have been over there for months practicing stuff and learning, you know, what they need to learn to do the movie. And you've already started shooting, and you want me to go over there and just start right away? Only because I didn't think I'd be useful to them. You know, I didn't want to be the guy that you looked at the movie and you said, you know, these movies are great, but that one guy seemed so clueless. He didn't know what movie he was in. And, well, I'm glad, obviously, that I went. And certainly getting Henry's blessing, you know, I hung up the phone saying, yeah, thanks, and they said, well, think it over. I said, okay, well, give me a little while. I'll think about it, but I don't think it's a good idea. I hung up, and Henry said, you should do that, Dad.
You'll be big dad.
And,
is it tough to be away from him when you're filming? Things like that,
Yeah.
because you're in New Zealand there, and...
I mean, for me, it was a lot harder to be away from him for the periods I was without him than it was to fight the orcs or, you know, defend Helm's Deep and what have you. It really was. But fortunately, he came over a lot, and in fact, he spent some longish periods with us, like all summer, which is winter there. We were shooting all the time, so he was there a couple of months straight at one point, and he got to the point where he was even in some of the movies. He was in the second one and the third one. You know, it just shows you how long it took. The first time he was in it, he was little, like in that picture. Mm-hmm. He's like 11, 12 years old, and playing a boy of Rohan, defending Helm's Deep, or, you know, scared and all that. Throwing rocks and at the orcs.
Doing that.
And then in the last one, he played a Gondorian, and there was one of my guys in one battle. And then in the other one, he kind of turned on me, and he was one of the super orcs. And he was first in line, and I kept having to say to him, look, the choreography says you miss. You miss.
What a fun thing for a kid to do, though, to be with his dad and play. I mean, it's wonderful.
No, he likes to come with me, you know, just like how you come here with your mom.
It's great.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Jody in the audience with a question. Go ahead, Jody.
Was it more challenging to film like a 3-year movie or to do a film with a horse as a co-star?
Wow.
Well, each of them have their challenges, you know. I think very few actors or actresses get a chance to be in a story that's as good as Lord of the Rings or Hidalgo, and that is about something. It's not just an entertainment. It makes you think about a lot of stuff, about how we have a lot more in common with people around the world than we think. You know, just spend some time with them and you'll see. And to have those projects be really popular for people to like them as much as they have. And I feel the same thing as that groundswell's happened with Hidalgo. That's 2 in a row, you know. It's like, I think I should quit while I'm ahead.
Well, is it true you had some really rough patches during the filming of The Lord of the Rings? Did you almost drown at one point? Did you get lost in the forest at another? Did you chip a tooth at another?
You read all these things that come out. Any of that true?
Are they true?
All of those are true.
Really?
Tell me about getting lost in the woods. What was up with that?
It wasn't connected to the movie. It was just...
Now I really want to hear the story.
Well, I was taking a friend of mine. I said, I just want to show you they'd never been. And I said, I want to show you this beautiful rainforest. And there's no moon, but I know the way. Don't worry about it. And we'll just go. Should we take a flashlight? And I said, no. We'll be back in time for dinner. Just a little ways. And, you know, hours later, I had to admit that I had no idea where we were. And
were you getting scared?
I had a camera. No, I was just annoyed that, you know, I felt bad. You know, I felt bad, you know, if you do something dumb and it's just you that has to deal with your own stupidity, then it's fine. But someone else is being subjected to the, you know, the weather and the thorns and all the, you know, the brush. It's another thing. So I had a camera with me, like with a flash, and I shot 2 rolls of film just trying to use the flash to find a path. And I ended up with some
Good
pretty
shots,
cool
too, huh?
pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll bet.
And then once I ran out of film, couldn't make it flash anymore, and I finally said, you know what, we're going to have to find some ground that's not wet, lie down until the moon comes up, and I can figure out what direction we're going in, and that's what we did. And the moon came up, I figured out how to get back, and eventually did it. So, not very much like Strider.
Heather's got a question.
Not too
Go for it,
cool.
Heather.
In Lord of the Rings, you guys got tattoos as a symbol of your time together. Could I see it?
Nah,
Did you actually do
that?
that?
Might take the rest of the show for me to
Where is that one?
but thank you.
Where's that tattoo?
It's on my shoulder. Yeah.
Was that a real bonding thing for everybody to get them together, or what made you all?
Or were you
Tell
in a
me what-
partying mood when
Yeah,
you
what
all
was
did it?
behind
No,
that?
no, it was conscious. We planned it out, and I went down and found a tattoo artist that would be willing to do it, work on a Sunday, first of all, because we never really had much time off, and we convinced them, and we all went down. Some were more reluctant than others, but we eventually did it. And, you know, in retrospect, we didn't really need to do it because the connection that we have with each other is in here, you know, and that's what I'm going to carry with me always, is the memory of doing that job. Same with Hidalgo. It's the people, the friendships I made, and what I learned being in an Arab, a Muslim country that was interesting, for example, or spending time on the reservation in South Dakota. Those are, you know, great opportunities in your life, and that'll always be here. So, you know, when people say to me, don't you wish that the movie had won the best picture of the year, or don't you wish this, don't you wish that? You know what, the reward is in the doing. If you do a good job and you do your best, that's pretty good already. And if on top of it people go to see it and they let you know that they really liked it, you know, that's more than enough.
So you don't need to go put a tux on and go sit at the awards ceremonies and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know if I'd even have the option. I think I'm going to be traveling for the next 2 months talking about Hidalgo, which I'm happy to do. You know, if I didn't like it, I'm not a good enough poker player that I could sit here and look you in the face and recommend that you see it.
You're a good actor, but not that good? Is that
Nah,
okay. We're going to take a quick break. We'll talk about some things you like doing in your free time. More about Hidalgo, too, when we come back.